if what you're doing is helping you lose weight and then you stop doing it, what's going to happen? You're going to go back to your old ways and you're going to put the weight back on. So we need to focus on your habits, the things that you're already doing, which I classify as your default setting. We don't look for perfection, we just look for progress and consistent progress and learning and adapting. It needs to fit in with your life instead of trying to force life around your plan. If you're a busy dad in your 30s, 40s, or even your 50s, and you've tried diets that's promised fast results, only to fall off after a few weeks and gain the weight back, I'm going to explain why this happens. And more importantly, I'm going to show you what actually works if you want to lose the belly and keep it off for good, even if you've got work, family commitments, and barely have any spare time. I'm Andrew Jacks, founder of Six Pack Dad, a company that's helped over 400 busy professional men lose over 20 pounds each without extreme diets, workouts, or giving up their lifestyle. I've been in the health and fitness space for over 25 years, and I've lived it myself. I'm a father of 3, I'm a business owner, and someone who understands what it's like to try and look after your health whilst looking after everyone else. So let me show you why most dads fail at dieting and what you can do instead. So here are the reasons why most dads fail at dieting. The first one is the diets that you're trying are too restrictive, because most diets and plans, they end up taking something away from you, something that you actually enjoy. For example, carbohydrates. It might ask you, with the keto diet, or it might ask you to take out alcohol, no drinking alcohol. If you enjoy a beverage, it's a way that you relax or enjoy socially on the weekends, and you take that out, that's not going to really work for you long term, is it? Or it might tell you to stop snacking. It might tell you to not eat out socially or have takeout with your family or eat out with your family. And that's not really realistic, is it? What about the carnivore diet where you just have meat only? So there's all these diets, they're too restrictive, which means that you're not going to be able to stick to them. And if you've got a family, you've got a career and a social life, it becomes a lot more difficult to be able to stick to them. So that's one reason. The other reason is a lot of the diets that are recommended to you or that you might have tried, they actually require you to make major changes, right? And so if you make major changes in your life, particularly your diet, it becomes a lot harder to stick to. So that's why there's other ways you can do this, which I'll show you very shortly. The other reason is that it's too difficult to maintain for the long term. So whatever it is that you might have tried or are trying, if you can't do that for the rest of your life, then it's not going to work. Because let me tell you this, if what you're doing is helping you lose weight and then you stop doing it, what's going to happen? You're going to go back to your old ways and you're going to put the weight back on. So we need to fix what you're currently doing, the old ways, the old you, and transform you into the new you, which we'll get into very soon. And there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about this, about the quick fixes that people look for with their diets. They're looking for the next quickest fad, whether it be taking a drug like Ozempic or any of the other ones, or even lap band surgery and gastric sleeves and all that. These are all quick fixes, right? We need to fix the foundation, and that's the things that we'll go over soon, such as your habits. In the scripture, it says, it's Proverbs 13:11, and it actually talks about wealth, right? But it talks about looking for shortcuts in life. So we'll switch the word wealth to health here. Health from get-rich schemes quickly disappears. Health from hard work grows over time. And so if you look at it from a health perspective, even though it's referring to wealth, it's saying that don't expect to get fast results that will last, because they typically don't last. So you need to do the work. It's going to take time. You need patience, you need consistency, and you just need to keep doing it. Now, onto the last reason why diets don't work is, or they haven't worked for you, they don't teach you habits. They just teach you a quick way, like I mentioned before, of how to lose the weight, and then those old habits are still there, right? So you need to learn the skills. You need to have the education and the knowledge and how to apply that in order for you to make that transformation for life. Because when you stop following that plan, whether it be a 6-week challenge, whether it be a 30-day fat blast or whatever it is, once that stops, what happens to your results? Okay, because when the plan ends, so does your results. So if any of this sounds familiar and you're tired of starting over, I've put together a free video that you can access. Down below, it explains the exact system that I use with my clients that helps them lose weight sustainably, even if they've failed before. A lot of them have tried other diets, haven't worked, and they've said this one actually works and I can do this for the rest of my life. So I've helped over 400 men and they've lost anywhere between 10 to 35 pounds within the first 6 weeks from this system. I've just had 2 men recently lose over 60 pounds within 5 months. So you can access that below via the link in the description. But please, before you do that, keep watching because I'm about to show you the 6 key things that are actually going to work for you. So the first thing is it needs to be sustainable. It needs to be something that you can do that's enjoyable, that works with your lifestyle, because a lot of these plans are built for people that have plenty of time and the lack of commitments. No, I'm sure if you're a busy dad, you don't have much time, you've got family to look after, your work, your career, and social life, and potentially other commitments as well. So it needs to be something that you can enjoy and do for the rest of your life. So we need to focus on your habits, the things that you're already doing, which I classify as your default setting. If you can always fall back to that default setting, no matter what happens in life, and you fix that default setting, you've optimized your habits, things like your food choices, your drink choices, your alcohol, your sleep, your stress, a whole bunch of things, because it's not just about diet, but you also need the guidance around that to be able to know what to do. It's just like brushing your teeth. It comes at the end of the day or the start of the day or after a meal, you automatically go to brush your teeth because it's become a habit. It's no discipline required really. You just go and do it. It's good, you know it's necessary, so you go and do it. Now, the other thing is, I spoke before about major changes will stop you from sticking to a diet. So we need to make sure they're not major changes, but minor changes, and not all at once as well, because you can get overwhelmed, it can get too hard, and then you'll stop. So think about things that you can easily swap around and make changes bit by bit. I suggest to focus on one thing 1 week and then move on to the next. So things like switching from full fat dairy foods to low fat dairy foods, for example. That's a simple swap that I teach my clients. So go from full cream milk to low fat milk. A very simple thing, and that's going to save you a lot of calories and a lot of fat if you're having that every single day. Adding volume to your plates with vegetables, stuff that's low in calories but high in nutrition, high in fiber. Adding more protein to your plate, that's going to help you feel fuller and maintain the muscle mass, which is important for metabolism, because the more muscle you have, the higher metabolism stays elevated all the time, even while you're asleep. So please keep that in mind. If you don't have enough muscle, then you're going to have a lower metabolism. And that's why it's important to do some form of resistance training as you get older to try and hold on to that muscle mass at least, or even build some as well. It's going to benefit you. And the other thing is like some cooking methods. If you're cooking with a lot of oil, try and reduce the amount of oil you're having. Use an air fryer, which is very handy to use these days, and it has a similar cooking effect with a lot less fat. The other thing is you need to have a flexible structure to follow, not just a rigid, strict plan that you can't move around, because if you're traveling, if you're on holidays, if you've got kids events and things like that, you need to be able to have some flexibility around that. And so we don't look for perfection, we just look for progress and consistent progress and learning and adapting. These are the things that are important, because if you have a plan that you need to stick to perfectly and you don't stick to it and you fail at it, then you're going to give up, you're going to lose motivation, and you're going to look for the next thing to do. Then there's other things like non-diet protocols. So it's not just about the food, it's also things like your sleep, making sure you're getting enough sleep. That's important for weight loss. Making sure you're hydrated and getting enough water, it's important for energy levels and your metabolism. looking after your stress levels too, managing that, because when you're highly stressed, it raises your cortisol levels, which will inhibit fat metabolism. So it's important that you don't only look after your diet, but you also look after all those other things, other habits in your life that need to be fully optimized to get your body in the best state possible to lose the fat. That affects your moods, it affects your hunger levels, affects your energy, and if you're a business owner or a business professional, it also affects your focus and your decision-making process. And the last thing is, some people can't do it on their own, and so they need accountability. And all the clients that work with me, the number one thing they say, other than a plan, is having accountability that will make sure they stick to that plan, to be able to keep doing it, to report to someone, and they end up actually doing the work. Because if there's no one for you to report to, if there's no one that's going to hold you to account, don't say your wife will hold you to account, don't say your WhatsApp group will hold you to account, because they're busy themselves, and then you end up not doing the work, which means you don't get the results. So hiring someone that's going to keep you accountable like a coach is going to really help bolster your success. So what should you do next, now that you know what doesn't work and what does work? I've already mentioned some tips for you, which I hope have jerried for you. And there's some light bulb moments where you can, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do that. Just make sure you write them down, because if it's just come in your mind and you haven't written them down, there's a chance that you won't do it. So write it down in your phone, your computer, on a piece of paper, even better, and refer to it all the time. But there's some more steps that I want to try and teach you that you can start applying today. You need to start taking small steps. I remember I said minor changes. Take small steps. So identify what the biggest factor is for you that's causing you to be overweight. Is it your meal portions are too high? Let's start to reduce those, but not feel too hungry. Is it your fat content's too much? Let's make some leaner choices. Is it you're not drinking enough water? Can you start drinking more water so that way you feel fuller after a meal and aren't confusing hunger with thirst? Are you snacking too much before dinner or after dinner? And I want you just to focus on that one thing for an entire week. Get that going, then go to the next week, and what's the next thing that I can do? And you need to be reflecting every day, what did I do well and what can I do better? It's what I take my clients through every single day when they start off with my program. And that's how you build what I call the habit sustainability formula. It's the same system that I teach my clients, and they get actual results that actually last. And here's the key. It needs to fit in with your life instead of trying to force life around your plan. That's the key here. So if you've watched this video this far, chances are that you're done with the short-term fixes, that you want something real. You want to lose the belly fat and keep it off. And if you're a dad who needs to lose at least 20 pounds or 10 kilos, and you want a simple, proven plan that doesn't involve skipping meals, giving up your booze, or spending hours in the gym, and you're wanting help, or you just want to learn more, go to ditchthedadfat.com or click the link in the description below. You'll get access to a free video where I explain the process. You can learn more there. If that's something that does interest you and you do want help because you know you can't do it on your own and you feel like this is what you need, then you can book a call via that page. There's a button there. We can access my calendar. You'll be speaking with me directly. And what I'll do is I'll see what your goals are, what your diet, your habit, and your lifestyles, and seeing what we need to implement in that, what strategy you need in order for you to get to those goals. And then we can set you on the right path and keep you accountable as well. Otherwise, if you want to learn how to boost your testosterone levels after 40, you can watch a video that I've made right here. Please look after yourself so you can look after your family.